Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about the best carry, or the second best carry, of patch 7.36b. It's kind of up to you and obviously depends on the game, but Lifestealer is one of the best heroes in Dota right now. It currently sits at number 6 in terms of win rate on Dota buff, and so yeah, this hero is one of the highest win rate heroes in all of Dota. The only other carry in the game that has a higher win rate is Wraith King, and that hero is obviously really good in pubs right now as well. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about Lifestealer, why this hero is so broken, and let's get into it. On top of that, go sign up to the gameleap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. Okay, so this game we're going to be following Skeeter. I'm sure you guys all know who he is. If you don't, he is arguably the best carry player in the world right now, carry player for Team Falcons, and we're going to be watching him. So what do they change by Lifestealer? Let's break down very quickly, like just give you guys everything you need to know. Number 1, his facet that you take is Corpse Eater. You gain 2 HP every time you kill a unit. This usually gives you around 200 HP by minute 15-20, 500 HP around minute 30-ish, 35. And that's just great because honestly, Lifestealer often has an HP problem in the early game. The issue with the hero is that he can get bursted from full before getting off Rage or Infest. So this is super nice. This facet actually is big. Then his innate is just his ult ability, and it levels up when you skill your ulti. However, it's a very potent 1.25% of their max health as lifesteal and damage just innately, right? So at level 1, typically you're going to have Ghoul Frenzy, which is 30 attack speed and 2% bonus movement speed. That's also something they changed, where Ghoul Frenzy, your passive, is now what gives you bonus movement speed. It used to be tied to your rage, but now it's honestly better because your E just inherently gives you 8% movement speed at max level. So yeah, usually at level 1, you have a ton of attack speed, and then you get bonus HP every time you just auto attack an enemy or a creep, so it makes the lane very sustainable. So yeah, Lifestealer, very reliable laner right now, and just a very good hero overall due to this innate being very OP, just obviously being an extra ability at the end of the day, because now you have Open Wounds as a natural ability, and if you guys don't know what that does, basically you cast it on someone, and then you get lifesteal, and this includes spell lifesteal. And what's really unique about Open Wounds in terms of lifesteal is that it's 50% at max level, but most importantly, you can heal from any source of damage. And this includes allies. So if allies are attacking an Open Wounds unit, let's say a centaur that has Open Wounds on them, they will heal from every single spell that is touching the guy. Okay, so in the lane, honestly, it's really easy. In the early levels, you're not that strong. Your hero is very fast, but you have terrible base damage. This is how they balanced the hero because they gave him a very strong innate and a good facet. You don't have the best armor. So really, the main goal of this hero is just to keep the lane back, get CS, get denies, and build up this Corpse Eater and stay high HP until you're going to get to the later levels where you can really start to zone people when, right, you get level 2 in Ghoul Frenzy, level 4 you're going to have a point in Open Wounds, and you can start to get super aggressive with your major item timings. On top of that, in terms of items, he's got Quelling Blade, he's going to buy Double Bracer in this lane, and this is what I recommend in most games. I think the Double Bracer build is fantastic just because the hero really does need the sustain, and because of the fact that Ghoul Frenzy gives so much attack speed at 30 and then 50 at level 2, getting the extra damage from Bracer is massive. It just really helps the hero be sustainable and get a lot of value out of the constant auto attacks it's putting out. Now from there, a couple other things I'd like to mention is skill usage and skill build. So it's actually very easy to skill build. Basically, you're always going to max out your E, just because that's what lets you farm fast. And then in terms of skill usage, I actually really recommend you use your W almost as much as you can. For instance here, Skeeter's going to go for a W onto the Centaur, who's ranked 10 player DM. So this guy's no joke. But you just want to use it a lot because your hero really doesn't have mana problems. You don't really use Rage almost at all, if possible. And eventually you'll get Infest, but you don't even have it yet, right? So essentially he uses the Q against the Centaur stun to dodge that out, and uses the Open Wounds just to slow him and poke him. And you can see it's very easy to stay full HP when you're hitting someone who is affected by Open Wounds because you get that bonus 20% lifesteal even with only 1 point, right? So basically just use it almost as much as you want, right? If the enemy steps up, even if you're only going to hit them 1 or 2 times, it's often worth it. This game unfortunately ends up getting ganked by Razor, and yeah, he actually died to that. But for the most part, guys, it's really easy what you do for the first 10 to 12 minutes. Just sit in your lane and don't die. Now, the reason that tends to work, the idea of sitting in your lane and not dying, is because of the fact that you have Rage to get out and you have Infest to get out. You should rarely use Infest aggressively. It should almost solely be used to avoid ganks and stay alive. And that's important to keep in mind. Now, this game that we're watching, currently he's farming just lane creeps under the tower, right? He got ganked by the Razor. He's 0-2, didn't have the best start, died at the runes as well. So, you know, things aren't exactly cooking for Skeeter. But I just want to show you guys, nothing crazy. You need lane creeps though. This hero's terrible at jungling. Skeeter's about to go jungle, but the only reason why is because he literally has no other choice. He considers TPing bottom here, which he does, and that's going to get him some lane creeps, right? But often you can make this play because your offlaner will be taking that lane. Thankfully, Amar, his teammate in this game, was dying, and so it's kind of this nice excuse to go soak some XP. But unfortunately, they had a hill ward on the portal and he ends up dying as a result, which was a little rough, so pretty tough again. And so just to reiterate before we get into the next point, you want lane creeps. At this point, he's going to start to hit AFK neutral camps. This is not, and I repeat, not what you want to do. This is happening because the game is terrible. In the majority of games, you should sit in your lane and defend your safe lane tower for as long as humanly possible and farm only the nearby camps that allow you to stay close to the lane creeps. If you follow what I'm saying here, you will gain MMR as Lifestealer. It is very easy to play this hero. You don't really need to rotate, honestly. You really don't. Can you? Yes. Wanna know why? Because Infest, if you infest an ally, it immediately, and I'm not kidding, immediately gives them 400 health. You don't have to pop out of them to give them the 400 health. Immediately when you hop inside of them, it gives them 400 HP. And so this ability is super good at saving allies and can be used for that purpose. Also, an example of something that Skeeter likes to do a lot is he'll TP into ganks. This TP ends up being pretty useless because he was kind of not needed. I mean, he does a decent amount of damage to Pugna, right? So I guess maybe he was needed. I don't know. That was some weird stuff. But like these types of plays, I mean, thank gosh he gets the kill, right? Because otherwise it's a mega waste of time. Now, in somewhat similar fashion to Wraith King, this hero likes rushing Radiance. There's two different builds you can go. You can either rush Radiance if you think you have a good amount of space and your team's having a good game, or you can buy Armlet so that you can be more active in the early fights. I've seen somewhat of a trend towards the Radiance, but honestly, I think both builds are equally good and equally viable. Just once again, if you're having a really like stompy game and you're like, okay, I'm going to keep killing the offlaner, I'm going to hold my safe lane tower, I want to be as tanky as possible, I want to do as much damage as possible, I just want to be a menace on the map, right? Really hold my area. Then an Armlet is fantastic. It's going to let you do that. However, if the game is a bit slowed, you got ganked a lot, things are kind of tough, right? Which is what Skeeter's game is here. It's not like his game's terrible, but it's not optimal, not even close. Then the Radiance Rush is better because it's going to let you hit that timing where you can start to really farm and continue to build these Corpse Eater stacks. Now at this point of the game, this is where this hero really becomes strong because you have 2 points in Infest, so now your passive Feast is just really powerful, 2.25%, right? And you just get an extra ability, plus you have this nasty facet. And so this hero has this whack timing that he just never has had before, right? Where he just has way more than he used to at this 15 to 20 minute mark, depending on when you get your Radiance. And you absolutely want to show up to fights on this timing. So similar to Wraith King, you kind of want to chill, farm up your Radiance, hold your tower, but you're not really looking to gank. I mean, yes, he TP'd in twice this gank. Yes, he TP'd in twice this game, one to save and one because it was just a free kill under the tower, but you don't want to team fight until your major time. Now, there's two different builds you can go on this hero after Radiance. I think one is Manta and one is Sanjin Yasha. Sanjin Yasha, in my opinion, is better overall. The reason why, Sanjin Yasha is a little bit cheaper than Manta Style, right? So Manta Style is 450 gold cheaper. However, the Manta Style works with the Radiance, so it lets you farm. But the Sanjin Yasha gives 25% status resist, so it's really, really good at letting you not get bursted, especially with that extra HP from Corpse Eater and the extra HP from Sanj. So it makes you basically unkillable. You cannot get initiated on as this hero. You'll almost always live. Now this game, the Manta Style, I can kind of see why maybe he would buy it. You're against Centaur, you can dodge that. You're against Dismember, if you get hooked, you can instantly click Manta. You're against Veno, you can dispel his stuff, you can dispel the Pugna stuff. However, I will say I still think that even in a game like this, he could just buy Sanjin Yasha because it also gives you 25% lifesteal amp, which obviously is good on a hero named Lifestealer. And we'll see in this team fight here, one of the main strengths, or the main strength of Lifestealer, is just getting in the way. Enemy team initiates on him here, I honestly have no idea why. I don't see what world they thought they were going to burst a 2.1k HP Lifestealer with his team behind him. Maybe they didn't think his team was behind him. But either way, he clicks Rage to dodge the Centaur stun, and then from there he kind of just runs in. It was a decent hook from Pudge, but unfortunately the Pudge has a pipe. Pipe's also really good against the Veno this game, and he just walks in and is eventually going to chomp down on the Pudge. Doesn't really end up needing the open wounds on the Razor there like he used it. Probably should have used it on the Pudge so everyone healed off of Pudge while they killed him, because once again, remember guys, it works on your teammates and they win the fight. In the mid game, as a quick reminder, you always have the option to bomb people. If you don't know what that is, basically you hop inside of any initiator, as we'll see here, he's going to hop inside the Pango, and you're going to use the smoke or just whatever ward you have, whatever vision, to explode a target, right? However, the downside of doing this is that you cannot use Infest defensively. So if it's a really hard game, let's say you're against Troll Warlord, one of Lifestealer's tougher matchups if you don't have Ags. I'm not going to cover that in today's video, but that's something to keep in mind if you happen to be playing that matchup. But if you are playing that matchup, you often need to use Infest defensively until you have Ags. Reason being is the Troll Warlord ulti is a direct counter to your hero with the permanent root it puts out. And so if you know that the game is very difficult, let's say this game was more even and he's against Razor, the defensive Infest against Razor is a great option to help you survive the Link. It won't actually break Link, but it can let you survive. And yeah, basically the main way most of these high MMR players see Lifestealer is more of a tank than some hyper DPS hero. I actually do think it would be reasonable in many games for him to buy AC here. I think this game is okay because it's going to give him some way to deal with the Razor minus armor, but for the most part, he clearly just sees himself as a frontline tank, right? Look at these items. He's got Manta in the Lincolns. He's going to be able to walk in, not die, get initiated on, get all of his spells off, and just turn with his innate, which is obviously Feast now. And basically, to sum it up, the pros really just want to take advantage of the innate being so OP. Right, the fact that when this hero survives now or just exists, it's a 15-second cooldown open wounds, which is just really powerful. It's really, really strong. The Ghoul Frenzy with the talents is ridiculous. For the talents, guys, at level 10, you get Ghoul Frenzy movement speed, which is great because it's just percentage-based movement speed, always powerful. At level 15, you get 50 attack speed. 50! Boom, straight up. At level 20, you get, honestly, both are good. The open wounds lifesteal is no joke and should be considered, because once again, it works on spells and all of your allies, but 15% infest target movement speed and health just allows you to really let the person that you're infesting or using as an infest bomb vehicle to be mega fast and mega tanky. It is powerful. However, I really think that the left talent is equally as good, if not better, and should be considered. All right, that's gonna be about all for today's video. I do wanna mention that at level 25, to have the option between Rage Duration, which they nerfed, it used to be plus 1.5 seconds, now it's only 1 second, or 1% Feast lifesteal and damage. Because the Feast lifesteal is 2.75%, it's kind of like a 33-35% increase on that, where 1 second on Rage is like far worse in terms of like percentage buff on the ability. So in the late game, percentage damage is just huge, especially when you just get 140 attack speed. So personally, I think the right talent is better. And in terms of items that you can go into, there's a lot of options. Abyssal is very standard. AC, because this hero tends to need armor, is very, very good. Silver Edge is good just so you can get around the map, get on top of people. Nullifier is good when people start to kite you with Force Staffs and Yules and Ghosts. So yeah, any of those items is going to be fine. But okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.